There are games you play, and then there are games that stay with you. Not because you remember every race, every car, every finish line, but because you remember the feeling. That first road, that one song that played at the perfect moment, that sunset you didn't expect, that car you drove for no reason other than the fact that it felt right. Forza Horizon was always more than a racing game. It was the sound of the engine when the world went quiet. It was the road in front of you when you didn't really know where you were going. It was opening the map, choosing a random direction, and somehow finding exactly what you needed. Because sometimes you didn't play Horizon to win, because sometimes you just played it to escape, to disappear for a while, to drive without pressure, to feel like the world was open, the car was yours, and nothing else mattered. And that is why this series means so much to so many people. Because from Colorado to Europe, Australia, Britain, Mexico, and now Japan, Forza Horizon was never only about speed. It was about places, moments, and memories. And that strange feeling of driving through a world that doesn't belong to you, but somehow for a few hours feels like home. And now that Forza Horizon 6 is here, it feels like everyone is looking back at this saga again. But to understand why this moment matters, we have to look back. Through the places that started it all, through the roads that slowly became memories, through the games that taught us that Horizon was never just about cars, and through the moments where the saga felt bigger than racing, like it was giving us a world to escape to. And finally, forward to Forza Horizon 6, the dream many players waited years to see. A place some of us reached after driving through every Horizon before it, and a place others never got to arrive at, because that is the thing about long journeys. Not everyone stays until the end, but every road still matters, and in Forza Horizon, all roads led here to Japan. Before Horizon became this massive open-world racing giant, before the huge maps, the hundreds of cars, the seasons, the live events, the expansions, and the constant updates, there was Colorado. The first Forza Horizon was not the biggest game in the series. It was not the most detailed, not the most free, it was not the most technically impressive, but it had something extremely important. It had identity. It took the serious, clean, and precise world of Forza Motorsport and asked a simple question. What if Forza wasn't only about tracks? What if it could be about the fantasy of being young, fast, careless, and free? About the music, open roads, or about a big festival? And that first game, that first Horizon, was the spark. It showed that racing didn't always need to feel strict. It didn't always need to be about perfect laps and breaking points. Sometimes racing could feel like a summer memory. A road trip, a party in the middle of nowhere, a car meet with the whole world waiting outside. And then Forza Horizon 2 took that idea and made it beautiful. Suddenly, Horizon felt warmer, bigger, and more elegant. Southern Europe gave the series a different kind of magic. It was less about proving the concept and more about enjoying the world. The roads felt softer, the scenery felt more alive. The whole thing started to feel less like a racing game with an open world, and more like a vacation built around cars. Then came Forza Horizon 3, the beautiful Australia, and that was when Horizon truly opened up. Beaches, cities, deserts, forests, open highways, and the off-road chaos. Horizon 3 felt like the moment the series realized how big this idea could become. It wasn't just a festival inside a map anymore. It was a whole world built around the pleasure of driving. And by then, the identity was clear. Forza Horizon was not trying to be the most serious racing game. It was trying to be the place where driving felt like freedom. And that road would eventually take us to one of the most loved games in the entire series. Forza Horizon 4 was different. Not because it had cars, every Horizon had cars. Not because it looked good, every Horizon looked good for its time, but because Horizon 4 had atmosphere. It had a feeling you couldn't fully explain with graphics, numbers, or features. Great Britain was not just a map, it was a mood, the way the world changed with the season. The rain on the road, orange leaves in autumn, the quiet snow in winter, the green hills, the narrow roads, the old stone walls. It made the game feel alive in a way that was hard to forget. And maybe that is why so many people still talk about Horizon 4 with so much love, because it did something very special. It made the map feel like a place you could return to, not just a playground, a memory, a world that changed but still felt familiar. and there was something peaceful about it. You could be doing a race or you could be doing absolutely nothing, and somehow both felt valid. You could drive through the countryside with no destination. You could cruise at night. You could follow a road just because it looked pretty. You could hear the music, see the sky changing, and forget for a moment that you were even playing a game. That was the magic of Horizon 4. It wasn't only exciting, it was comforting, and that is rare. A lot of racing games make you feel fast. Forza Horizon 4 made you feel present. It gave you speed, yes, but it also gave you quiet moments. Moments where you weren't thinking about winning, you were just driving, and sometimes that was enough. That is why Horizon 4 became, for many players, the emotional peak of the series. Not necessarily because it was perfect in every single detail, but because it arrived with the right map, the right atmosphere, the right music, and the right feeling, and it became something bigger than just another Horizon game. It became a place people missed. And when a game reaches that point, when people don't just remember playing it, but remember being there, that is when you know it did something special. And then came Forza Horizon 5. Here, Mexico was the soul of this game. It was bigger, brighter, colorful, and impressive. And let's be fair, Forza Horizon 5 was not a bad game. Not even close. It was technically incredible, it looked beautiful, and it had one of the most varied maps in the series. Deserts, jungles, beaches, volcanoes, storms, highways, and off-road routes. On paper, it had everything. And for a lot of people, it was amazing. But for others, something felt different. Not broken or terrible, just different. Maybe it was because Horizon 4 had left such a strong emotional mark. Or maybe it was because the formula was starting to feel too familiar. Maybe it was because Horizon 5 gave you so much so quickly that something stopped feeling earned. Cars, money, events, rewards, wheel spins, the game was constantly giving you something. And that sounds good, but sometimes when a game gives you everything too fast, nothing feels as special. That was one of the biggest criticisms some players had. Not that Horizon 5 lacked quality, but that it lacked a certain sense of progression. A sense of building towards something. A sense that your favorite car mattered because you worked for it. And that is where the conversation around Horizon 5 became interesting, because it was beautiful, was huge, and fun. But some people started asking, is Horizon still surprising us? Or is it becoming too comfortable with its own formula? And that is not hate. That is what happens when people love a series. They don't only want it to be good, they want it to feel special. And after Horizon 4, that was a very hard thing to do. Because Horizon 5 didn't just have to be a great racing game. It had to follow a game that for many people felt like home. And maybe that is why Horizon 5 became complicated. Not because it failed, but because it proved that being bigger is not always the same as being more meaningful. Sometimes the hardest thing for a series to keep is not the graphics, not the cars, not the map size, is the magic. And then, after years of rumors, wishes, and fake leaks, the same question every time a new Horizon was mentioned appears. When are we going to Japan? It finally happened. Forza Horizon 6 took us there, the beautiful Japan. And it matters because, for many players, Japan was never just another map. It was the big dream. Neon streets, mountain roads, drift culture, JDM legends, a place that always felt like it was made for Horizon. Colorado gave us the festival, Europe gave us beauty, Australia gave us freedom, Britain gave us atmosphere, Mexico gave us scale, and Japan feels like all of that meeting in one place. But Horizon 6 also feels emotional because time passed. Some players started in Colorado, some joined in Australia, others fell in love with Britain, some arrived in Mexico. And now many of us are reaching Japan. But not everyone made it here the same way. Some grew up, some stopped playing, some lost the friends they used to cruise with at night, the ones who would spend hours doing nothing but driving, drifting, laughing, and choosing random roads just to see where they ended. Some still love the series, but life changed. There is less time now, less silence, less of those long nights where you could open the map, pick a car, and forget about everything else for a while. And maybe that is what makes Horizon 6 feel so different. It is not just another release, it feels like a destination. The end of a road we didn't even realize we had been driving for years. And when Japan appears in front of us, it does not feel like just a new map. It feels like a memory waiting to happen in that place so many players imagined. the dream the community kept asking for, the road that always felt far away until now. And maybe, for a moment, everyone who ever loved this saga can look at it and feel the same thing. We finally made it. In the end, Forza Horizon was never just about racing. It was never only about being the fastest, having the best car, or crossing the finish line first. It was about everything that happened between those moments. The roads we took by accident, the songs that stayed with us, and the cars we loved even when they were not the best. We were just driving. And maybe that is why this saga still matters. Because every Horizon gave us a different place to escape to, a different version of freedom, a different memory attached to a road, every map, every car, every song, and every quiet drive when we did not know where we were going, but somehow did not want to stop. So maybe Forza Horizon was never really about the destination. Maybe it was about the feeling of moving forward, of choosing a road, of leaving everything behind for a while. And now, after all these years, after all these places, after all those roads we never forgot, we finally reached Japan. And maybe that is enough to remind us why we fell in love with Horizon in the first place. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. My name is Alice, and that's all for today. I'll see you in the next video.